Hello everyone, my name is Hans Lindemann. Welcome to the Devoteam Cloud Cooking Class, the cloud recipe for business. In today's cooking class, we're going to be talking about something very interesting and important, sustainability. And more precisely, sustainability in business. I think we all agree that sustainability is something that's very important. But what are some of the key drivers for sustainability within businesses today? On the one hand, we have a business's stakeholders, so the business's owners, the business's customers, and its employees, who are all looking and demanding for the business to become more sustainable. Equally, governments are also demanding that businesses become more sustainable, and they are asking for greater degrees of disclosure on how sustainable they are. But maybe more importantly is a business's suppliers, which represent Scope 3, who are asked to become more sustainable. Those suppliers ask their suppliers in turn also to become more sustainable, thus making a virtual circle of sustainability, which is very, very powerful. And finally, and let's not forget, sustainability means good business. We know that businesses that are more sustainable do better. They are more valuable and they have higher degrees of competition. So what about IT and sustainability? What are some of the IT tools that are driving sustainability? In Devoteam, we look at this in two ways. We talk about green for IT and IT for green. When we talk about green for IT, we are talking about what type of technologies that we can help a client implement that helps them on their sustainability journey. For example, we can help them analyze sustainability data, and we can help them visualize that data so that they understand where they are on their sustainability journey. On the other side, when we look at IT for green, we know that a business, a company's IT infrastructure and ecosystem has a huge impact on sustainability, and in particularly on climate reduction and CO2 reduction. So for example, a company that moves to the cloud will automatically lower its CO2 footprint. A company that manages its IT infrastructure and devices better will also become more sustainable. And those are some of the things that we are talking about today. So let's move over to the kitchen where I will introduce you to my first interview partner. So I'm very happy to introduce you to our first interview partner of today from Microsoft, Jörg.
Thank you, Hans. My name is Jörg Hamburgers. I'm working for Microsoft Germany as a sustainability community lead, and I'm very happy to be here.
So Jörg, we're really looking forward to hearing more about what Microsoft is doing in terms of sustainability. But maybe you could start talking a little bit about what has Microsoft done itself to reduce its carbon footprint?
Well, yes, I think that is very interesting because we already started our journey in 2009. Right, so that was the time when we first set our own carbon goals internally. In 2012 then, we became climate neutral, and we also set our first internal carbon tax. That was, the purpose for that was basically that it drove motivation for the product and services team to reduce their carbon footprint. And while they developed hard to make that happen, you know, the company could actually take that money from that fund to drive further innovation. So that's the reason why we actually increased our carbon tax in 2019 and also set ourselves a water goal so that we're also doing equivalently reducing water in our operations. In 2020, we actually introduced officially our climate targets that included being carbon negative, water positive, zero waste, and protect more land than we actually use for our own operations.
I mean, it's really amazing to see what Microsoft has actually done itself. So tell us a little bit about how does a technology company like Microsoft support sustainability?
Yeah, so first and foremost, when in 2015, 190 nations around the world that are part of the UN set the agenda for 2030, which resulted in the 17 sustainability goals. Microsoft was committed to that, so we're very focused around these 17 sustainability goals. But for the reason of today's webinar, we're going to focus on the environmental sustainability layer.
Jörg, it's amazing to hear how much Microsoft is actually doing itself with regards to its own footprint. But what does a technology company like Microsoft do to support the sustainability journey?
Microsoft is committed to the UN SDGs, the Sustainability Development Goals. While we support all of the 17 goals, we're going to focus on the environmental piece here. So we have set 4 strategic pillars that we're looking into: carbon, water, waste, and ecosystems. In that, we sort of look in every part of our organization, and we look at our operational business, and we look at how can we drive innovation and in services and our product lines. At the same time, we're looking at what new features can we add to help our customers and partners to become more social and environmental impact friendly, right? And while doing that, we're also looking at how can we as Microsoft use our voice when policy makers are being involved, so that we have fair market conditions, but also drive for acceleration. And at the core of our whole strategy, basically, are the people, the employees, right? Those that are developing code that actually help us drive the innovation, identify issues and problems in our code, and help, therefore, really go in new directions, discover the unknown, right? And they have been very strong in Microsoft, and so they keep pushing us in the right direction.
So Jörg, what is the strength that Microsoft and its partners bring to the customers?
Well, first of all, the partner ecosystem Microsoft has is a strength in itself, right? Mm. So what is important is that the customers need to be in the cloud in order to benefit from all of the enhancements and the additional features and the innovation that's being driven there. So first step is get in the cloud, and therefore green by default, right? So do the things you do today, but do them better. The second step, basically, is that we drive for incremental change. So do things that you do today, but do them different. And then the third thing is really about the transformation of whole industries, right? A lot of the industries today are being challenged by the fact that they need to rebuild their services, rebuild their product. They cannot just continue doing it as is today. Mm. So that is going to be key, that they change everything they do, from the product, maybe even their business model, to really be more environmentally friendly.
So obviously change and incremental improvement is very important. What is it that Microsoft is bringing to its customers to enable them to do that?
I think the biggest struggle today for most of our customers, and this is the feedback we keep hearing from them, is that there is no data strategy in-house. The data is coming from different sources. The data quality is very often a problem, and also the reporting metrics is not being defined. So in order to support our customer in that field, we're introducing the Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability, a cloud that helps particularly around the carbon accounting. And because it's a platform, it helps to record data, merge the data, being able to report it out to the relevant stakeholder, and then afterwards turn it into action.
So really fascinating about the Microsoft Sustainability Cloud. And as an end to this interview, can you tell us a little bit about some of the key takeaways from the journey that you and Microsoft have had in terms of sustainability?
So one of the key takeaways really for us was when we migrated to the cloud, we were able to reduce our carbon emissions. by optimizing our data centers, we could also be more energy efficient, right? And then from here onwards, it's about driving further innovation. So replacing certain materials in the data centers to reduce our freshwater use, for example. It's also about the carbon tax that really helped us to innovate and drive motivation in our teams. And then it's also about smart building technologies. A lot of the embodied carbon is actually sitting in buildings. So smart technologies could actually improve here by up to 20%. And then obviously our tool set with Microsoft Teams and the Office suite and so forth was very helpful to reduce our footprint with our own employees, and particularly now in the pandemic, where we also changed our event structures and had that virtually delivered, which obviously saves a lot of travel, a lot of commute, so the hybrid world is making a big contribution all over.
Jörg, absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for telling us about Microsoft's own journey and also about what Microsoft and its partners like Devoteam do in terms of sustainability for our customers. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Hans, for having me.
So that was a really interesting interview with Microsoft and their view on what they're doing with the sustainability today. And that really takes us to my second interview partner, who's a good colleague of mine, also comes from Devoteam. He's one of our experts on sustainability, green for IT and IT for green. Welcome, Fabrice.
Oh, thank you very much, Hans. I'm very pleased to meet you today in real life, because usually we see each other through screens.
Exactly.
So today is very good. Hi, everyone. My name is Fabrice Niemann. I'm an associate partner at Devoteam Digital Impulse in France. And I'm in charge of two offers. The first one is related to IS strategy. So what we are doing usually is enterprise architecture and IT strat plan, I would say. And the second one is the reason why I'm here today, is around the sustainability enabled by digital. And related to that, we developed an offer which is called Do It Green or Do IT Green for the plan.
Exactly, and we'll get back to this in a second. There are a couple of things that I really want to ask you about, Fabrice, and I think our viewers would also be interesting. And I mean, you are one of the people in Devoteam that has the most experience of actually implementing some of these sustainability activities. Could you please tell us a little bit about what it is that Devoteam is actually doing with our clients when it comes to helping them on their sustainability journey?
Of course. Yes, we developed this offer from, it's been 2 years that we are working on this offer for now, and we leverage through the COVID situation to really develop our assets. And now we are working on two different streams. The first one is green for IT, and the second one is IT for green. So when we are talking about IT for green, it's how technology could improve the carbon footprints of an activity in our client, within our client enterprise. So we mainly address that through digitalization of process, doing paperless, etc. We do it, for example, for a large company or ministry. I have an example in mind for a French ministry where we carried out this kind of assignment, and we managed to lowering the carbon footprint by 20% just by digitalization. So we can have a huge impact on business activities through digitalization, of course. And the second part of our offer is more related to green for IT and how can we leverage also the IT department and their assets in order to be more sustainable. When we are talking about that, as you know, there is a lot of an important footprint which is linked to device management on one part. It's about 50 to 60% of the IT footprint, and also to infrastructure, which is around 30%. The other are related to networking and stuff like that. So we are working on the two main sources. The first one through device management and distance working through these different technologies. And you were speaking with Microsoft earlier on, the use of for example, Office 365, SharePoint, Teams, etc. Those kind of solutions are very good in order to lower the impact of the activities, because when you are working on distance, you lower the transportation, and you also lower the intensity of the use of your workplace. Okay, so first one, act on the different the device, and the second one is to act on the infrastructure, and through that, for example, a cloud solution are a very, very huge impact on sustainability. When you are comparing, for example, the carbon footprint of cloud solution compared to that traditional data center in a high-intensive energy, carbon energy country, you can lower your bill by like something like 50%. 50% could be provided using cloud solutions. So it's quite a huge impact, and we are working on that with our clients.
I mean, this is really interesting, Fabrice, and I hope everybody's noticing that we actually have two ways that technology is actually impacting sustainability. One is the way that technology itself drives the client to improve, and the other is actually that IT and infrastructure itself is a driver to sustainability, which I find hugely interesting, also because it means that the CIO and the CTO takes a completely different role in the whole transition to sustainability.
Totally.
But Fabrice, so this is a cooking class, and of course we are surrounded by ingredients here. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what are some of the key ingredients in this sustainability recipe for companies.
Yeah, to make a good start, when you are trying to address sustainability topic, the first thing, in my opinion, you need to do is to measure. Knowing your starting point, knowing if you are in a good shape, in a bad shape, in an average shape is very important. Because if you don't know where you come from, you cannot fix objective, you cannot fix a roadmap or a structure, a transformation toward more sustainability. So the first thing would be to set up measurement. And it's a good thing because at Devoteam Digital Impulse, we developed a carbon calculator, which is based also on Microsoft tools in order to analyze, for example, SaaS application or cloud application. And we managed to give a very precise view of what is the IT footprint, and then to act on it and be able to fix some objectives. And it would be my second ingredient. It's governance. When you are trying to be more sustainability, knowing your starting point, and then try to introduce in your decision-making system a new KPI, new indicator that help you taking the right decision. At the moment, we developed what we call the ROS. It's a return on carbon emitted, and which is a concept very close to return on investment, which you do usually when you are doing a project. So the idea is to measure the sustainability, I would say, of your project towards the profitability, and to make the good trade-off between what you want to do. Sometimes you will be more. It will be necessary to make profit. Sometimes it will be necessary to make sustainability. So it's a good trade-off and a balance. You need to steer, to manage, and to govern. So that would be my second ingredient. I would put in my recipe. If I put a third ingredient, I would say people empowerment. At some point, sustainability transformation is really related to how people embrace this transformation and are a part of it. So if you really want to drive the transformation, you need to empower the people, to acculturate them, to make them understand where is the footprint, where is the carbon coming from, and what they could do to lower its impact or improving the situation. So third ingredient, people empowerment. And last but not least, I would say would be invest into sustainability. That would be my last ingredient, and this one is really, really important. At the moment, regarding IT, for example, I think there is something like 10% of the IT department only who have dedicated a specific budget to sustainability and sustainability transformation. It needs to be more important than that, and each company needs to dedicate its budget, because if you don't invest into sustainability, in what would you invest?
Exactly.
So it would be my fourth and last ingredient, if I may say.
Exactly. So to summarize, we really have four very important ingredients here. We have the measurement, we have the governance, we have the empowerment of the people, and finally, very important, the actual investment itself,
of course,
to make sure that the sustainability is realized. And I hope this really gives you a good feeling and a good indication of what it is that we do in Devoteam when we talk about sustainability, and in particular what we say in Devoteam around green for IT and IT for green. Fabrice, it was a pleasure having you here. Look forward to seeing more of you, and good luck in helping our clients with their sustainability journeys out there.
Thank you, Hans.
Thank you. So that takes us to the end of the Devoteam mCloud cooking class, Cloud Recipe for Business. I hope you found that all interesting. We've covered a number of recipe ingredients here today with regards to how companies can improve their sustainability journey. It was great to have Microsoft visiting here in addition to Fabrice from Devoteam. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you learned something. And of course, I also hope that if you do need help with your sustainability journey, you know where to turn. We at Devoteam would like nothing more than to help you, and we look forward to hearing from you.